Yo, RX back with another recap of UFC Nashville versus Font. We back with a recap. And clearly I decided to go for the Monday 10 a.m. than the Sunday 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. my bad. But whatever, recaps are bare minimum. Like I said, they're gonna be Sunday or Monday, and all that matters is the match you're doing them. So, yeah. But enough about that. Let's talk about the card. Pretty good card. Very few lowlights of the card. Sadly, the most important fight of it was a fucking low light. But whatever, we'll talk about that later. We had some highlights, and a lot of highlights actually, and we had a pretty decent card overall. So, enough, really not much more to say besides that. So, let's just recap it. Please like, comment, sub, 100 subs go by the end of the year. As always, let's recap some fights. Break down the recap? What do you say? I don't know. Nothing got cancelled. We still had 12 fights, and let's talk about the fight that opened the night. As we have Asu Alabayev versus Ode Osbarn. Great debut for Asu. The kid looked great. In round 1, he took Ode down and wrestled him. In round 2, he took Ode down and wrestled him till he got a rear naked choke and he won. Kid looked great. Great debut. Ode is a tough debut for anyone, and Asu passed it with flying colors. He ripped through Ode pretty much. And yes, Ode does have a strong wrestling weakness, I would say, but overall, still, Ode's not an easy debut. He might have terrible fight IQ, and he might not be the highest level of a fighter, but dude, he's tough. He's a lot just like Tyson Nam with that kid. Might not be the highest level fighter, but it's a hard debut. And Asu passed with flying colors, unlike that kid, but that's a different story. Yeah, his wrestling looked great, which I don't remember much of his striking, but I don't remember it looking bad. But you didn't need a striker. Striking with Ode is kind of stupid. Ode's a really a decent striker, and why would you strike when you have a clear wrestling advantage? And that's why he did wrestle. So, genius game plan by Asu, and great debut, man. 29 years old, continuing his winning streak, and looks to be a great add to the flyweight division. I'm very excited to see him again, cause again, he looked great. Looks like we might have a new Kazakhstanian, I don't think that's what you call him, but a new fighter from there looking like a top, they could be a really good fighter. Really, all they've had is Shavkat, unless I'm forgetting someone. Let's see, who else did they got? Yeah, I'm not really knowing. Top is coming to mind, so this could be good for them. Get a new top, get another great fighter. Let's see what happens. Nothing really more to say about this kid. He had a great debut. To talk about Ode, really not much to say. I think Ode's hit his ceiling by now, and he's just gonna keep doing what he's doing. Win some, lose some, rinse and repeat. We know what we're gonna give Ode now. He's kind of a one-round fighter to a point, and he's just not the most skilled. He can win fights. He can beat a Jerome Rivera, a Zaruk Adeshev, a Charles Johnson, but he's never beating a Manel Kape or an Asu Alabayev. He's at a certain level, and these guys he's fighting and losing to are above him, and that's fine. It's good that he's not losing to these guys he should not be losing to. The guys he has lost to are guys he should lose to. It's simple as that. And Ode could, if he just sticks by that, win some, lose some, get a nice long UFC career, and that's that. Dude's 31 years old, still pretty young. and he's not a bad fighter, just gas tank's pretty bad, and fight IQ's never really been his strong suit, so yeah. But like I said, O'Day I think's hit his ceiling. He's win, lose, that's that. So yeah, not much more to say about that. But yeah, really not much more to say about his fight besides who they should fight next. Asu showing up, great debut. Who should he fight? You got some options. It's a shame they cut Tyson Nam. That would have been a really good fight. Charles Johnson's always there. He's not that he could be a good test. CJ Vergara is on a nice roll. Carlos Hernandez coming off a win. So you got a lot of options. It's always hard booking a fight at flyweight because either everyone's booked or like who are you really gonna give him? So yeah, any of those guys would work. And then for O'Day, give him a step down, let him fight I think Jimmy Flick got cut, but like a Victor Altamirano, even a Carlos Hernandez who's not that great, but still, someone like that, just give him a step down. Salvador, fuck it, Salvador would work, something like that, I don't know. O'Day, don't give O'Day another tough fight right after this tough fight, 'cause that's not cool. So, yeah. Really not much more to say. Good debut for Azu. Great way to begin the card, and who should they fight next? Azu has a lot of options. I'll say Carlos Hernandez. And for O'Day, back to the drawing board, and I think he should fight someone like a Victor Altamirano, I guess I'll say. So, yeah, really not much more to say there. A great debut for Asu Alabeev. After that, we had to featherweight for a fight that sadly went pretty much how I thought it would. Sean Woodson versus Dennis Bazoukian. Pretty much Sean picked him apart for 15 minutes, which sadly I'm not too shocked by, because Dennis did sign the contract for this fight on Tuesday, so it's a shame. Dennis is a very talented fighter, just he kind of had really a slim chance at winning this fight. Like, he was always in it, but he was just a punching bag, mainly. He had a nice moment at the end of the second, ground and pound, had reversed Woodson on the ground, got a little bit of ground and pound, but besides that, he's pretty much just, his striking ain't close to Woodson's level, and he couldn't do anything with the wrestling, so just not a great debut for Dennis, but it was on 3 days fucking, or on 4 days notice, so what could he really do? I'm really excited to see Dennis on a full camp. I think the dude is talented. He's 25 years old, very young in his MMA career, and I'm very excited to see how he does on a full camp against a step down, no less. I think the kid is very good, and I'm very excited to see how he does. So, yeah, it's just a shame that his debut went like this, because I don't know, it didn't show who I think Bazoukian is. So, yeah. And then for Sean Woodson, what can you really say? He respect him in the same regard. He went through 4 opponents for his card, and he said yes to every single one, and he didn't have that easy of a draw either. Every day he's almost changing fucking opponents. So by the time he was in fucking Nashville, he probably didn't even have his final opponent. So he had to do tape study for 4 people. So yeah, but good for Woodson. He got a nice win here, tough opponent, and he got back on track and looked like the Sean Woodson we want to see. That Saldana fight made no sense. I still don't get what happened there, but I'll just write that off as a fluke, because that makes no sense in hindsight. Because that was not Sean Woodson we saw fight. We've seen the Sean Woodson fight pretty well, It's just against Saldana, against a dude like Saldana who's not even that good, he just kind of shit the bed, which was really weird. So, yeah. But now Woodson looked great against a tough opponent on short notice. Respect to Woodson, man, he looked great. And Dennis, same thing. He did what he could on short notice, and hopefully he gets a full camp for his next fight. So, yeah. Really not much more to say in that regard. And let's talk about who they should fight next. Very simple fight to break down. It wasn't the most eventful fight. One of the weaker fights on the card overall, but when you learn what happened with it, you get a little... It lightens up a bit, so... Yeah. To talk about who they should fight next, for Sean Woodson, getting back on track, I wouldn't mind seeing him versus maybe... fuck it, rebook him and Steve Garcia. I think that fight makes a lot of sense. It was literally the first fight that Woodson had booked on this card, so yeah, I say rebook that fight. And then for Dennis Bazoukian, give him a step down, first of all. I think that's common knowledge. And second of all, who? See, where they got Dennis ranked? He has to be in around here. Well, okay, they don't like him for some reason. But I would like to see him versus maybe Blake Builder or Austin Lingo, someone like that. Austin Lingo. I think that's a perfect fight for Dennis. Lingo's not very good, but he will test Dennis with his toughness, so yeah, I like that. Do that fight. So yeah. Really not much more to say about this fight. Respect to both guys for different reasons, and overall, who should they fight next? I like Sean Woodson versus Steve Garcia, and I like Dennis Bazoukian versus Austin Lingo. Woodson, Garcia, rebook it, simple. Bazoukian and Lingo. Bazoukian can get back on track with a night. Can get for his first real UFC fight. He can get a nice one against Lingo. Well, yeah, not much more to say. Good fight. After that, I'm gonna say really nothing about this fight because I didn't break it down for a reason. But now, my favorite fight of the night, one of my favorite fights of the year. Fuck this little ugly bitch. I hate Cody Durden, but thank you. Fuck this ugly bitch. Cody Durden did one good thing. Fight of the night. And as you know, just give Durden a performance bonus. Don't give Hadley anything. Dude's a bitch. Thank you. Thank you, Durden. Thank you. After that, we go to a banger in the featherweight division, but it's Billy Q. What do you expect? As we got Billy Quarantillo versus Damon Jackson. Fight of the night, in my opinion. An amazing fight. In round 1, Damon wrestled a lot, got Billy to the ground, but in round 2 and 3, Billy woke up and fought like Billy. You can't beat Billy wrestling, especially if you have a bad gas tank like Damon. And Billy Q just in the second, third, just took Jackson apart pretty much. Jackson had moments, but overall it was a Billy Q show, and that got Billy Q the win, man. But even when I say it's a Billy Q show, Jackson was still throwing, and it was a war. Fight of the night, in my opinion. It was a great fight, and it's what you expect from Billy Q, and even I'll say from a dog like Damon Jackson. It was just a great fight between two veterans, and yeah, it was fun, man. Really, really fun. It was a Billy Q fight. You expect nothing less from a Billy Quarantillo fight. Either he's knocking someone out, he's getting knocked out, or we're going to war. And that's why we all love Billy Q. To talk about each fighter real quick, I pretty much already talked about Billy Q. He had a Billy Q fight, he looked good, and he's Billy Q. For Damon, he's not a bad fighter. his striking just ain't good, and his wrestling is the only thing he can do. His striking is just not very good. And his gas tank is terrible. In the first round, he actually looked really good. Even on the feet, just in those later rounds. Jesus Christ. He just can't strike, man. But, whatever. I don't know, you can't really get mad at this loss. He lost to Billy Q. Great, so what can you really do? So, yeah, respect both guys. These two went to war. Fuck. To talk about who they should fight next, for Billy Q, I would like to see him against Lerone Murphy. Billy Q will definitely test Lerone. Lerone needs that after some questionable performances. And the winner gets a rankings fight for sure. And, yeah. For Damon, definitely needs to get a step down after 2 tough fights in a row. I wouldn't mind seeing him versus maybe Daniel Pineda. Yeah, we'll go Daniel Pineda. The 2 veterans, now both coming off losses. For one of them, plural on that loss is word. And yeah, I think that'd make a lot of sense. Be a fun battle of veterans, and why not? So yeah, I like both those fights. Makes sense, and let's do them. Overall, definitely the fight I would say we watched the most. This was a banger. And who should they fight next? I like Billy Q versus Lerone Murphy, and I like Damon Jackson versus Daniel Pineda. Billy Q and Lerone, fun fight. Winner gets closer to the rankings. Jackson Pineda, someone gets back on track between 2 veterans. Overall, great fight. My fight of the night. After that, by the way, I'm not rushing through this. I'm just noticing I'm really going quick through these, but there's not much to say. This card was so good, there's little to say, just rewatch it. But after that, we head to the welterweight division for a fight that was pretty much going how I predicted it to, but then out of nowhere, it stopped going how I predicted it to, as we got Carlston Harris versus Jeremiah Wells. So, long story short, this was another fight that's not much happened, and this fight was actually lame as fuck until the ending. Though in the first 2 rounds, for 10 minutes, Jeremiah just held Carlston down, easily bagged the first 2 rounds, and was looking like he was going to do the same in the third. But he did gas. Carlston still had some juice left, and he did everything he could to get a finish. Eventually, he locked up, was it Von Flue? Anaconda, my bad. And choked Wells out. Huge comeback win for Carlston in a fight he was clearly getting just dominated in. And yeah, he pulls off the huge comeback. Anaconda choke out of fucking... Yeah, might I add, out of nowhere. Like, at 1 second, he's putting it in. Jeremiah is that's not wrong. 1 minute, he's getting it locked up. The next minute, Jeremiah's out cold on top of him. It's like, what the fuck? Like, it didn't even look like... It was hard to tell Jeremiah even went out, because he was still... His eyes were still open, he was still moving a bit. But yeah, he was fucking out. And that's insane. The fact that Carlston did that to a dude like Jeremiah, no less, who's very strong, is impressive. So, mad respect to Carlston Harris, man. He earned that shit. He earned that shit. Fuck yeah, I didn't even know one judge gave Jeremiah 10-8 in the first. That's crazy. Yeah, it's frustrating a little bit for someone who picked Jeremiah by decision, no less. I did not feel like he would be able to knock Carlston out, and I actually did feel like he would maybe go to the wrestling, and that's what he did, and it was genius. Just, he got caught. He got caught Misha Tate Holly Holm style. Got caught right at the end. Had to win. Not anymore. So, it's a little frustrating, but at least it was some cool fucking finish, and again, mad respect to Carlston, man. Dude showed a fuck ton of heart. He did not quit. He could have easily quit down 2-0 against a tough dude like Jeremiah. Could have easily just been like, well, let's get on to the next one, but he said, fuck that, man. I'm winning this fight, and he did. Mad respect to the man. giving Jeremiah his first official UFC loss and putting himself, I think this puts him close to a rankings fight. I don't think he should get a rankings fight, but I definitely think he should fight someone who, if he beats them, he should get a rankings fight, and I'll talk about that in a second. So, yeah, mad respect to Carlston. And then for Jeremiah, what can you really be mad at here? Yes, the loss, but let's be honest. You won 99% of that fight. That 1% is getting choked out, and you looked great. Go back to drawing board, learn how to defend chokes better, and that will be that. So, yeah, nothing more to say. Great comeback by Carlston, and who should they fight next? I would like to see Carlston Harris versus Randy Brown. I think that would make a lot of sense. Two lengthy welterweights. One's coming off a very underwhelming win, and one's coming off a very good win. So, I would like to see that winner gets most likely a rankings fight, if not closer to it. And I think that'd be a great fight. For Jeremiah, go back to drawing board. I wouldn't mind seeing him versus maybe... How about Phil Rowe? Yeah, I like that. Phil Rowe I like that idea. Jeremiah Wells and Phil Rowe, both coming off losses. I like it. Let's do it. So, yeah, overall, not a good fight at all, to be honest. Pretty bad fight, but that crazy comeback saved it, and overall, great comeback by Carlston Harris. And who should they fight next? I like Carlston Harris versus Randy Brown, and I like Jeremiah Wells versus Phil Rowe. Carlston and Brown, great fight, lengthy dudes, would be entertaining. Jeremiah and Rowe, both coming off losses. Who gets back on track would be fun. Overall, great comeback by Carlston. And to end the prelims, we had a very okay fight. I didn't think it was that special a fight, but it was a dude's comeback fight after a long layoff, so what do you really expect? As we have Kyler Phillips versus Honey Barcelos. Not very much to say. In the first two rounds, Kyler was just a better fighter. Honey had his moment, but overall Kyler was better on the feet. Had a couple moments on the ground, if I remember. In the third, Kyler did gas a little bit. Honey did take advantage, did take that round, but by that point, he needed to finish, and it was already a clear 29-28 for Kyler Phillips, and that is what happened. Yeah, Kyler looked okay. Not really the return I was expecting. I was expecting a little bit better of a return from him, but he still looks pretty good. He knocked the rust off pretty much, I think. Plus, fighting a dude like Hani, it's hard to have really good forms against Hani, because he is a tough dude. Win, lose, or draw, Hani's gonna give you a fight. That's why you are making it look like fucking nothing to beat him. It's like, what the fuck? So, but Kyler looked good, still got the win, and I hope he can get back to looking like Kyler for his next fight, because I think Kyler is a great fighter. I think he has top 15 potential. Not top 10, but 15 through 11. And it's a shame that he did lose a year of his career, but at his age, 28, that's not devastating at all. It might be better for him. Just like his teammate Sean O'Malley. O'Malley lost, I think, 2 years of his career, and I think it was the best thing for him. So I think it may, as crazy as it sounds, quote quote, getting time off for at a young age, like 28, 24, Kyler and O'Malley, prime examples, could be good for you. You get better. A dude like Hani taking time off would be terrible. Michael Chandler, I think, is a prime example of, at his age of 37, I believe, he should not be taking this time off. But these younger guys can do that, and I think it could be good for Kyler. He was able to heal his body for a year, and now he's back, and he looked alright. I'm excited to see how he does in his next fight. after with the rust fully knocked off, especially if he fights pretty consistently. Let's say he gets back in there December, January, and that would be good. So yeah, Kyler looked good. And again for Hani, he stepped on short notes for Saeed, and he did good. He made it a tough fight, as he always does, and he looked good. And Hani is gonna be Hani, man. 36 years old, and he still can go with the best of them. So, yeah. Really not much more to say about this fight. It was a very fine fight. It was about what you expect between Hani and Kyler. Technical, fun fight. Technical, decent fight. I don't know if I would call it fun. But, yeah. The only thing I can think left to talk about for this fight is who they should fight next. For Kyler Phillips, I would like to see him against Chris Gutierrez. Chris is ranked 15th, coming off a terrible loss to Pedro Munoz. And I don't see who he could fight up in the rankings for. And I don't know who he could fight down in the rankings for, besides maybe Javid Basharat. So, yeah, I would like to see Kyler fight Chris Gutierrez. I think that'd be a really fun fight. And then for Hani, back to the drawing board. Nothing new for him. Just wipe the dirt off your knees, get back in there. Who could he fight? You got Daniel Marcos, you got yeah, fuck it, fight Daniel Marcos. Test that kid after a very questionable performance against David Grant. And yeah, I like that idea. Unless I'm forgetting. No, yeah, I like that idea. Yeah, test Daniel Marcos. Nothing really more to say. Let's see how good he is actually. So, yeah, not much more to say about this fight. Good return for Kyler. And who should they fight next? I like Kyler Phillips versus Chris Gutierrez. I like Hani Barcelos versus Daniel Marcos. Kyler and Gutierrez, great fight. Hani and Marcos, let's see how good Marcos really is. So, yeah, not much more to say. Good way to end the prelims, and that was the prelims. Really, no dud fights. Like, this was fun, this was okay, this was amazing, great. The comeback made it good. This was fine, right? Like, very fun prelims. You had the fight of the night, you had a crazy comeback, a great debut, and a great fight here. I didn't want to highlight his fucking name, just Cody's. So, yeah. Not very much more to say about the prelims. Only thing left to talk about is the 6th fight main card, which was alright. In the middle part was the best part of it. The beginning and end were kind of disappointing. But let's talk about that opening main card fight as we begin the main card with a fight, which I really don't think should have been on the main card over a fight or two, but whatever. And we begin the main card with Ludovic Klein versus Ignacio Bahamondes. For pretty much 15 minutes, Ludovic just schooled Ignacio. Ignacio is still very green, you can tell. Ignacio's a great prospect. I'll die on that hill right now. Kid's very talented, but he's still learning on the job. He has to get better takedown defense. His striking, he looked, I don't want to say scared, but he looked tense in this fight. He needs to be that guy we saw against Roberts and fucking that, like, the guy we've seen in his last 2 fights has just not really been Ignacio Bahamondes. Yeah, he looked good against Ogden, but it wasn't really a great performance. And here he looked pretty bad against a guy like Ludovic Klein, who's not a bad fighter, just I think Ignacio Bahamondes is a better fighter, to be honest. But he just really didn't show that, which is kind of disappointing, to be honest. So, yeah, very, very disappointed. And fuck you. Very disappointed in that, is what I'll say. But in the same breath, I gotta give mad respect to Ludovic. To do that to a kid like Ignacio is impressive. Ludovic's had a really weird UFC career, but this is his best win so far. Because his other 3 wins are a can, not a great fighter and a very questionable decision. And not a fucking a joke of a prospect. And his 2 losses, by just looking at this loss to Chisano, throwing MMA mask, he lost to a guy who's worse than Ignacio. And then he had a draw with Jai Herbert, who's awful. So by everything I'm seeing here, he should lose to Ignacio Bahamondes, but he beats Ignacio Bahamondes. It's like, what the fuck? Respect though. Like I said, that's all I can say is respect to the man. He had a huge upset against a tough prospect. And now he puts himself right in position for a good fight. And to be honest, he is, in his last 4, he's 3-0-1. So, he's doing good for himself right now. And then, like I said, for Ignacio, he's still learning on the job. He's 25 years old, he's still green. If he can get better takedown defense and get loose with that striking again, he's gonna be a problem. The guy we saw here and the guy we saw in these 2 fights are not the same guy. And I want to see the guy we saw here and not the guy we saw here. So, yeah, I hope he can get back to being the guy who made me think he's a good prospect and not a guy who just seems like a point fighter, if anything. So, yeah. But nothing really left to say there. Not a great fight, but whatever. And who should they fight next? For Ludwig Klein, coming off a nice win. I wouldn't mind saying him versus maybe Faraz. I forget who I said Faraz should fight, but yeah, I don't mind seeing him versus Ludwig Klein. I think that'd be a decent fight. I'm not really seeing much else I like. So yeah, we'll go Ludwig Klein and Faraz. Faraz 2-fight winning streak. He beat Jai, who Ludwig had a draw with, so so yeah, we'll go for that fight. And for Ignacio Bahamondes, I say give him a little step back. Give him like a Jai Herbert or a Machete would be really fun, actually. Yeah, something like that. Fuck it, let's go Machete. I think that just screams crazy fucking fight. So let's do it. Yeah, let's do that fight. Not really much more to say about this fight. Pretty weak fight to open main card, but whatever. Great win for Ludwig Klein. And who should they fight next? I like Ludwig Klein versus Faraz Ziam, and I like Ignacio Bahamondes versus Machete. Klein and Ziam. Why not? Ignacio and Machete, great fight. Both need a win. A good win, no less. And, yeah, it'd be entertaining. So, let's do it. Good win for Ludwig Klein. After that, we head to the light heavyweight division for a fight that was good, but it should have not went 15 minutes. As we got Tanner Bowser versus Alexa Kammer. For 15 minutes, Bowser just beat the shit out of him, but he never went for the kill. It felt like Johnny Walker and Anthony Smith. He could have probably got the finish, but he never tried. He was just okay with clinching against the cage and winning. Like, for round 2 and 3, that's literally all that happened. He punched him. All Bowser did in the last 2 rounds is he punched him a couple times, hugged him against the cage. Punched him a couple times, hugged him against the cage. And for Bowser to do that in a fight that he needed to win and look good in, no less, this was a terrible look. He should have got the finish. Like, dude, you probably should be cut, if anything, and you're doing this shit in a fight you need a win? Fuck, they handpicked you a win, and you get a decision? That's not good. Like, of course you get to win, you keep your job, but dude, you needed a finish here. Like, if Kammer was able to fight back and all that, fine. But in the last 2 rounds, Kammer was pretty much just a punching bag. So it's kind of a shame that Bowser never actually tried to get the kill. Because he could have, and it would have been huge for him, but he was okay with what he was doing, I guess, and that was pretty fucking lame. But whatever, Camera's tough as fuck, at least, I'll give him that much. And Bowser is not the brightest bulb in the fucking drawer. So, yeah, really not much more to say there. Let's talk about who they should fight next, because I really don't got much to say about this fight, besides Bowser should have got the finish. For Tanner Bowser, who should he fight next? Ihor Potieria? Marcin Prachnio? We'll go Ihor Potieria. It should be easy win for Bowser, get another win, and go from there. Not much to say. And then for Alexis Kamer, I think you should cut him. He's on a 3-5 losing streak, he's 6-3, and he's shown nothing in the UFC, I don't think. And all he did in this Bowser fight was get punched. Yeah, he showed he's tough as fuck, but he's just not good. And why would you keep him around? Let's be honest, the only reason he's in the UFC is because he trains with Stipe. If we're being honest, dude's not very good at all. So, I think you cut him. Dude's 29 years old, or 27 even, that's even better. Let him go on a regional scene or to Bellator or something. Let him get some experience. Maybe let him get a couple more wins and then bring him back maybe 3-4 years from now. So, yeah, he just should not be in the UFC right now. And I'll give him this, he's had tough opponents. His last two fights, Nega Mariano and Tanner Bowser, are not easy opponents. But then you look at William Knight and you're like, oh, really, dude? So, I don't know. I think Camera would be better off getting cut at this point. He's just not very, he needs more. If he is going to be in the UFC, he needs more. He needs to develop more, and right now he's doing it in UFC is just not for him, so I say cut him. So, yeah, not very much more to say there. Bowser looked good, but should got to finish. Camera is tough as fuck. And who should they fight next? I like Tanner Bowser versus Ihor Potieria, and Camera should get cut. Really not much more to say on that fight. It happened, is what I'll say. So, yeah, nothing more to say. After that, now the card got, this one, the main card really got good. As we have Diego Lopez versus Gavin Tucker. Diego Lopez is him. Diego fucking Lopez is a GOAT. He on the feet, right? Not much happened. Tucker shot for a takedown. Lopez pulled guard with a triangle, and after a little bit of fighting, he got it. He did something to his arm and got the win. Diego Lopez is a problem, man. He is a fucking problem. I'll say right now, he wins a rematch with Evloev. Dude, this dude's scary on the ground. And his striking ain't even bad. He hurt Evloev in their fight, and his striking ain't bad. But it's his ground game. It's like, dude, you don't want to be on the ground with this motherfucker. He is scary good on the ground. And he showed here against a decent fighter in Gavin Tucker. But it was a perfect step down. Tucker's a tough opponent, but it should be a fight Lopez wins, and he did. So, Lopez is a legit prospect to keep an eye on. 28 years old, featherweight, looking great. Like, this dude's really fucking good. So, yeah, I'm happy he finally got that submission and that win in the UFC he deserves. I can't wait to see him in the UFC again. I hope they do put him on that Brazil card for Blades and Almeida. So, yeah. Not very much more to say there. And then for Gavin Tucker, I don't really know what to say. So, he is 37 years old. He just got another arm injury because he was out for 2 years with a shoulder. And now what? you don't cut him, but do you just retire? I say give him. I say he's gonna be out for the rest of the year. When he comes back, February, March, whatever, give him a step down, see how he does, and if he wins, good. If he loses, either he'll retire or you cut him. Simple as that. So, I think Gavin is a talented fighter, just at his age, it's kind of a lost cause, it seems. So, at his age and the injuries he's got, let's not forget that again. He was out for 2 years with a fucking shoulder injury. That does not sound like a good thing. So, yeah, now he just got another injury. So I feel bad for him, I'll say that. So, I feel bad for him. But really not very much more to say for this fight. Besides, who should I fight next? For Diego Lopez, I would like to see him against Pat Sabatini. Pat, known for his wrestling. Diego, known for his grappling. Let's see who comes out on top. And think about on the feet, Diego's a better striker. So I'd be really interested to see this fight. I think it'd be a great fight, and it would answer a lot of questions. So let's do it. Diego Lopez and Pat Sabatini. And then for Gavin Tucker, like I said, time off, come back, and let's see what happens. I would like to see him versus maybe, I'll say Luis Saldana. Perfect step down. Saldana's not very good, but he's good enough to test Gavin, and I think that'd be perfect for him. Someone who will test him and will do it well. So yeah, right, not much more to say there. Gavin Tucker and Luis Saldana just makes sense. If Tucker loses that, it's time to hang him up or cut him. So yeah, not much more to say. So overall, great performance by Diego Lopez. And who should they fight next? I like Diego Lopez versus Pat Sabatini, and I like Gavin Tucker versus Luis Saldana. Lopez and Sabatini, like I said, great fight. And Tucker versus Saldana, perfect way to see if Tucker still got it. So yeah, let's do those, and keep an eye on Diego Lopez. Dude's really good. Not much more to say. After that, we head to light heavyweight for a fight that went nothing like I expected it to, or anyone expected it to. Dustin Jacoby versus Kendi Nzechukwu. Wow, he smoked him in under 90 seconds. I thought Jacoby could win. I didn't think there was a chance he would smoke him in 82 seconds. Fuck, that is insane. He hit him with a perfect combo, sent him down, ground and pound, won. That's crazy, man. Jacoby just keeps surprising me. And this is a giant win. Kennedy was on a roll and he just took all of that momentum and now is running with it. Good for Jacoby, man. Dude was fucked over for so long, having to fight 800 unranked guys, and now he's finally getting these ranked guys, and he's winning. Let's be honest, he's only lost in his last, whatever many fights as Azamat Murzakanov. He beat Khalil, and he just beat Nzechukwu. And Jacoby's a good fighter. He's a really good fighter. So, and this is a great win. Might be his best win of his career. Because Kennedy's a great fighter. And he just ran through him like he was nothing. So, mad respect, man. Jacoby's a dog. There's not more you can say. Jacoby's a dog. He goes to a great gym. And, he's very interesting. Very interested to see how he does in the next fight. Do we talk about his opponent? Kendi Nzechukwu. Yeah. A king of being hot and cold at light heavyweight. 1 minute he's on a 3-fight winning streak, looking great. Next minute he's getting finished in the first round. So I've learned if Kendi Nzechukwu on a 3-fight winning streak, don't pick him on that fourth one. How the fuck did it happen twice? So we know he's gonna go on a 3-fight winning streak now. Dude, it's annoying with Kennedy at this point. Dude is very talented. He's really good. He has all of the skills to be a top 15 dude. But he keeps fucking tripping over his own shoelaces right at the last hurdle. Da Jung, fucking Negamarianu, a fight he probably won, but still, it's like, dude, I swear, I say it every week. Him, Kevin Lee, this guy, that guy, her, him, all these fighters who just have this talent but don't fucking show it consistently. It's frustrating as shit. I talk about this every recap, I swear to God, but it's true for so many. It's weird that all of these fighters have so much talent but never show it consistently. If they show it consistently, they'd be a lot higher than they are, but shit like this happens. So it's like, what the fuck can you do at this point? It's annoying as shit. Very, very annoying. But whatever. Kennedy will get back on track, I feel. And like I said, for Jacoby, mad respect. Great, giant win that he needed. And to be honest, in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. In his last 10, he should be, what, fucking 8-1-1? And fuck, this should be a win. So, 9-1? And he's beating, and Khalil and Zachko are good wins. So, yeah. Jacoby's a dog, man. And now, the only thing I think left to talk about is who they should fight next. For Dustin Jacoby, I really don't know. Because, like, Alonzo Menifield's the only fight that makes sense. Already beat him. Who knows what's going on with him? And anything above here, I doubt. So, yeah, I think him and Alonzo Menifield makes a lot of sense. Both coming off big wins. And really nothing else makes sense for either guy. So, yeah, let's do that fight. And then for Kennedy and Zachko. Jimmy Crute. I like the sound of that fight, because I'm not really seeing much else for Kennedy. So yeah, I like the idea. Kennedy and Zachko and Jimmy Crute, both very inconsistent fighters who have a lot of talent, but they don't show consistently. There you go. So yeah, I like that fight, and let's do it. So really not much more to say about this fight. Amazing performance by Dustin Jacoby. And who should they fight next? I like Dustin Jacoby versus Alonzo Menifield. I like Kennedy and Zachko against Jimmy Crute. Jacoby and Menifield, 14 versus 15, makes sense. And Zachko versus Crute, the kings of inconsistency. Let's see who's can actually be their best. So I don't know. Let's see who's the least consistent for one night. So yeah, great performance by Dustin Jacoby. And after that, we head to the co-main event of the evening. A strawweight fight that answered many questions, I feel. As we have Tatiana Suarez versus Jessica Andrade. Yeah, Tatiana Suarez is so great. She's gonna be a UFC champion. I'll say that right now. She beats Whaley, Lemos, Jan. She's gonna be a UFC champion. She is so good. It's kind of fucking crazy. It is crazy how good Tatiana Suarez is. And she might have got better. Dude, she might have fucking gotten better. She has not lost a goddamn step. And she just ran through Jessica Andrade like it was nothing. If you run through Jessica Andrade, you're really good. She ran through Andrade like it was really not a challenge. And that's insane. I'll talk about Andrade first, because there's not much to say here. She's the BMF, but she's a female BMF, but she's also pretty fucking stupid. So you've taken 2 fights now at short notice versus the best wrestlers in the UFC female-wise when you're a shit wrestler. I get it, but it's not smart. And now you're in a really weird position on a 3-fight losing streak, and you're probably going to drop down to a lower level. So it's like, well, not, you're going to, but it's like, what do you do now if you're Andrade? I say take time off. Take the rest of the year off, come back next year. You can't have another fight this year. First of all, how? Second of all, who? So, take the rest of the year off and just see what happens. See what happens in the divisions, and come January, February, come back, healed up, ready to go, and see what happens. Because if you have a 5th fight this year, mad respect, but also, that's not smart. So, like, she only had 1 fight last year, and she's had 4 this year. It's like, fuck, man. I'm a huge Andrade fan. I think everyone should be. But what she's doing now is just kind of fucking herself, because she's still very young, and she is just shown she is a badass, but she's also a dumbass. You're taking these fights that you have no chance in on a full camp, let alone on a short camp. So, and I don't want to say it, but is Andrade washed? Did she hit her peak? Did she hit her peak? We'll see. She can still go. Like, this fight showed it, but at the same time, Laura Murphy's garbage. So, I don't know. I hope Andrade takes the rest of the year off. It would be the smartest thing for her to do. If she takes another fight this year, I don't know what the fuck to say. If I hear tomorrow she's stepping in for fucking Erin Blanchfield to fight Talia Santos or some shit, or stepping in for Rose to fight Manon, it's like, are you fucking kidding me? But again, knowing her, I would not be shocked. So, never know if Andrade, but I think she should take the rest of the year off. Nothing, that's what I think. But to talk about the star of the fight, Tatiana Suarez. She's gonna be a UFC champion. And I'll say right now, she would be a UFC champion without that injury, without that layoff. If she didn't take that layoff, she'd be a champion right now. Who beats her? Let's be honest. Who beats her? No. 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 Who beats her, man? Tatiana's gonna be a UFC champion. There's nothing more to say. She's gonna be a champion. I'll be amazed if she ain't. So, and I can't, she deserves it. After all the fucking injuries, she deserves that belt. So, I can't wait to see her get that belt. And I think she just needs one more win to get. I'll talk about who in a second. So, yeah. She's gonna be a champion. But now to talk about who she should fight, I think it's simple. Yan Xiaonan. Weili's fighting Lemos. Weili's probably gonna take the rest of the year off after this. And I think Yan and Tatiana, if they do get that card in China, that'd be a great fight night main event. Winner fights Weili or Lemos. Simple as that. Fuck. Tatiana should be fighting for the belt right now. She should be the backup for Weili and Lemos. But she should fight Yan. Nothing more to say there, so, yeah. And then for Beta Istoka, why is this dummy here? For Beta Istoka, Jessica Andrade, if she doesn't take the rest of the year off and she actually does get one more fight in, she'd fight Mackenzie Dern. Or Jan Duropa. Either one of these two makes sense. Yeah, I really don't know who else she could fight. I would, if these two hadn't already fought each other, Andrade could fight down a little more, but she should fight Jan Duropa or Dern. So, yeah, I like either one of those fights. So, yeah, I think I'd rather hear versus Jan Duropa was probably better, because a better fight, because she's the worst striker, and I think you could stop her takedowns. But also, is Dern really? Yeah, either fight's good. Good pay-per-view fight. Either works. So, yeah. Nah, that's what I think. But take the year off is what I really think for Andrade. So, yeah, not much more to say. Overall, Tatiana Suarez is going to be UFC champion, and who should they fight next? I like Tatiana Suarez versus Yan Xiaonan, and I like Jessica Andrade versus Jandy Roba or Mackenzie Dern. So, yeah. Tatiana, champion. And to end the night, we had this shit show. Not gonna say anything. Corey fought like a bitch. Rob Font sucks. Corey should fight Umar. Rob Font, no one cares. Shitty main event. Corey, stop fighting like a bitch. Nothing more to say. Boom. That's the card. It was a great card. Like, to be honest, if I was telling you, if you missed it and I was telling you what to rewatch, the only thing that I would say not to rewatch would be this, maybe. Just watch the ending of this fight. You could skip this. You could skip this. And skip this. So I'd say watch these 3 fights. Watch this. Watch these 2 for sure, and watch this. Half the card watch, other half don't watch, pretty much. So, yeah, it was a great card. Picks wise, I went 8 of 12, 3 perfect, 5-15. I'm not mad at the ones I got wrong. What do I expect? Still green, got caught, bad pick in hindsight. So, yeah, not mad at my picks. Decent night of picking. The bonuses, it was just 5 performance bonuses. Tatiana Suarez, Dustin Jacoby, Diego Lopez, Carlston Harris, and Asu Alabayev. I agree to an extent. I would have done a performance bonus to Tatiana, Jacoby, and Lopez like they did, and Harris. I would have gave those 4 bonuses. You could throw one to Cody Durden for beating up this fucking loser. And then I would have gave 5 of the night to Billy Q and Damon Jackson, so. But, whatever. I think everyone who got a bonus deserved it. The only one, this one's a little questionable, but he looked great. The other 4, no doubt, deserved it. And, yeah, great night of fights. Deserve a bunch of bonuses. We'll forget this was the main event, because this was a joke. But, overall, it was a fun card. And, yeah. Not much more to say. Fun card in Nashville, Tennessee. And now, next week we head to the Apex again for a fight night between Luke and RDA. It's a fine card, nothing special. It's an Apex card, so don't expect too much. But, yeah, not very much more to say. You'll hear from me Friday, 1 p.m. EST for a breakdown. Saturday, you'll hear from me then, Sunday, 1 p.m. or Monday, 10 a.m. for a recap. You know the drill by now. And, yeah, unless I'm forgetting to say something. Yeah. Oh, and Nate Diaz got robbed against Jake Paul. Simple as that. But, yeah, nothing really left to say besides please like, comment, sub. 100 subs go by the end of the year. I hope you enjoyed the video. And as always, RX. Out. Fuck Jake Canley.